A lot of people in my age bracket, yes, I'm a baby boomer, would tell you that the very best decade for music, especially rock music, was the 1970s. Count me among the people who feel that way. About a third of the albums, in fact, on Rolling Stone's 500 greatest albums list were released in the 70s. And you know what? Looking back on it 50 years later, 1972 may be among the very best and most important years for music, especially rock. I mean, first of all, check out the list of artists who released their debut albums that year. Blue Oyster Cult, Foghat, Roxy Music, Steely Dan, Styx, The Scorpions, The Raspberries, and, oh yeah, Linda Ronstadt, Jackson Browne, and the Eagles all put out their first albums in 72. Also, we got first ever solo albums from Paul Simon, Michael Jackson, and The Who's Pete Townsend. After leaving the Velvet Underground, Lou Reed released his first two solo albums, the second being Transformer featuring Walk on the Wild Side. 1972 also gave us Todd Rundgren's Something Anything, which included both Hello, It's Me and I Saw the Light. We got new albums from, listen to this list, Black Sabbath, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Jefferson Airplane, Argent, Hold Your Head Up, Little Feat, Cat Stevens, Genesis, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Loggins and Messina, James Taylor, Joni Mitchell, Seals and Crofts, Humble Pie, Van Morrison, T-Rex, and Frank Zappa. Also, these two albums, Uriah Heep's Demons and Wizards and the Edgar Winter Group. They only come out at night. Frankenstein on there. Chicago 5 was released in 72. Saturday in the Park, the monster hit on that one. It was one of the year's top-selling albums. Jethro Tull gave us Thick as a Brick. Rod Stewart put out Never a Dull Moment featuring You Wear It Well. Mott the Hooples, All the Young Dudes came out that year. And Pink Floyd released Obscured by Clouds. Their epic Dark Side of the Moon came out the following year. Oh, the Doobie Brothers' Tulu Street was out in 72. That one had the hits Listen to the Music and Jesus is Just All Right. Stevie Wonder put out two albums in 1972, including Talking Book, which gave us the classics Superstition and You Are the Sunshine of My Life. Also, there were well-received albums from these soul and R&B artists, Al Green, Aretha Franklin, Curtis Mayfield, the Staple Singers, The Temptations, and Bill Withers. Some other legendary albums to come out that year were Alice Cooper's School's Out. Boy, did I play that one a lot in the early 70s. The Moody Blues, Seven Sojourn, which had the hits Isn't Life Strange and I'm Just a Singer in a Rock and Roll Band. Wars, The World is a Ghetto. The double live album Hot August Night from Neil Diamond. And Elton John released Honky Chateau. The hits Rocket Man and Honky Cat were on there. But I also love Mona Lisa and Mad Hatters. Now, here's the thing. I just mentioned about 50 albums from 1972, and I haven't even given you my favorite 10, only two of which were mentioned previously. So without further ado, my favorite 10 albums from 1972. Number 10 would be No Secrets by Carly Simon. Not just a great album cover that all teenage boys were very fond of back in the early 1970s, but an album with some great music on there too, including the massive hit You're So Vain, and no, that song was not written about me. Number 9 would probably be a lot higher on a lot of people's lists, and you would think it might be higher on mine because I am a Rolling Stones fan. I'm referring to the double album Exile on Main Street. Great album, but not actually one of my favorite Stones albums, believe it or not. Number 8 and number 7 are two that I did briefly allude to previously. Steely Dan's classic debut album, Can't Buy a Thrill, which gave us their early hits, Reelin' in the Years and Do It Again. And the debut album by the Eagles called simply Eagles, featuring the hits Take It Easy, Witchy Woman, and Peaceful Easy Feeling. Boy, I wore this one out in 1972. Close to the Edge by Yes. The highlights on here being, well, the title song that was about 18 minutes long, and the song And You and I, which clocked in at a mere 10 and a quarter minutes. That was number 6. Number 5 would be the Allman Brothers, Eat a Peach, the last one of theirs that included Wayne Allman, who was tragically killed in a motorcycle crash the previous fall. Notable songs on there included Blue Sky, Melissa, and the live version of One Way Out. Wow. My number 4 album, and this one may shock you, it is a Jim Croce album, You Don't Mess Around with Jim, featuring not only that title song, but also the great ballads, Photographs and Memories, Time in a Bottle, and Operator. That's Not the Way It Feels, one of my all-time favorite songs, and I mean that. Number 3, very different from Jim Croce, that would be Deep Purple's Machine Head. Smoke on the Water, the big hit on there, but also Space Truckin' and Highway Star. Love that song. At number 2, Neil Young's classic Harvest. I'll tell you, 50 years later, I still love Heart of Gold, The Needle and the Damage Done, and Old Man. But my absolute favorite album from 72, that would be, well, this one. Frankly, one of my favorite albums of all time, still today. It's from this legend who would have turned 75 on January 8th. It's Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars by the great David Bowie. So good. There you have it. 50 years later, a slew of great music that still evokes a lot of wonderful memories and brings us all lots of great listening pleasure.